Hello, ladies and gents of YouTube. Rich from PCGamesN here, and I'm joined once again by Ben Barrett.
Hi, hello.
And we're here to talk about League of Legends patch 7.10.
Yeah.
Not 7.9 or anything logical that would follow after that, but 7.10.
Really?
Yeah.
7.10, you can say it that way.
7.10, I suppose. Anyway,
Rich doesn't like 7.10. It doesn't make any sense, he says.
Yeah, well, it doesn't.
But the patch itself,
plenty to talk about. And first up, Pulsefire Caitlyn. Now this is a continuation of the first ever Ultimate skin.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
That Riot released, which is Pulsefire Israel. Tell us a little bit about Pulsefire Caitlyn.
So yeah, it's a continuation of that line. It was the first Ultimate skin they did. It's actually coming with an upgrade to that skin because that skin's kind of out of date now. It's pretty much what you would expect of like a legendary skin or one of the lower tiers than that. This one is for Caitlyn. She looks pretty good. I'm not like I don't know why they chose like her or why they chose to update this line now. I'm actually kind of surprised they've done this because they have with all their other Ultimate skins they haven't really been in a position to be able to turn them into a skin line. Right. But yeah, it looks pretty great. They've given her a massive rifle that's like twice as big as her actual character model. Okay, cool. When she taunts, it turns into a chair that she sits on and drinks tea, which just looks fantastic. She's got really good VO. The nice thing about the Pulsefire skins is I do feel like they have like there is quite a lot of personality in it because while the Ultimate skin itself that they originally gave to Ezreal is now a little out of date when it comes to you know the actual technology behind the skin itself, they did put enough effort into it for it to be worthy of an Ultimate skin. So there's like a lot of kind of lore around it to do with kind of time travel and this super high tech kind of alternate universe thing that they've got going on. And they've managed to bring all that over quite well to Caitlyn, I think. And yeah, so they're also upgrading Pulsefire Ezreal to bring him up to scratch with. I doubt he's going to be as good as DJ Sono, which is kind of the most recent Ultimate and arguably one of the best things they've ever made. But you know, it's to bring him up a bit and make it feel like, oh, okay, you know, this is worth buying for new players, and also make people who bought it way back when not feel like they wasted their money by spending it so early. That's cool.
Sounds like a necessary update then.
Yeah.
And as ever, balance changes and hero reworks. What's new in this in 7.10?
So it's kind of all reworks all the time. It's a bit weird actually. It feels like there's more changes here than there was even in the mid-season patch before it. That was very much specifically targeted at these three characters, trying to make these tanks more interesting. But again, in this, there's even three characters getting changed. The first is Heimerdinger. He kind of plants all these turrets around the map. They're making it so that is more the focus of his kit. I think it's always kind of has been, but they haven't managed to like make it effective as well as thematically what he was doing. More ways to like make them do more damage faster. Basically, they scale better into the late game. They're easier to use in the early game because you can carry more of them around. You can basically use more of them at once. And basically, I think they're trying to make him more useful. He's definitely one of those characters, kind of like, I guess Teemo would be another good example, where he's never really been used at the highest levels. They've found it very difficult to make him interesting. I think part of that comes down to his design, in the same way that Engineer or Torbjorn are very difficult to play against in their respective games. Heimerdinger is that kind of character where he places these static bits, and if you just walk into him, he's going to destroy you. And balancing that around, a game about pushing lanes and all the rest of it has proven quite difficult.
Fair enough.
Other than that, there's Rammus as well, another one of the tank characters. I'd say he's getting probably the most significant changes out of the three that we're talking about here, at least at time of the creation of this video. He's going to be more defensive, kind of building around this character, this kind of walking armadillo. If you're trying to beat up on him, he's going to beat up on you just as hard, basically. If you walk into melee with this guy, he's not going to mess around. He does more slows, he deals more damage, and they're also kind of refactoring his ultimate around doing more damage to buildings, which should help him push lanes better and generally make him more of an impact on the map, which can be quite difficult with tank characters in any of these sort of games because it's their job to take hits,
not to do anything else.
But players aren't going to just hit them. They're going to target healers and target damage dealers. And then finally there's Malzahar. He's getting a total rework of his Voidlings. They've also said there's going to be more changes implemented this week. Sadly, we're making this video at the start of the week. So some of this may be changed by the time you watch the video. But basically there's going to be more Voidlings being spawned. They've got more HP, but they still get one shot by all champions and towers. So basically they're for pushing lanes. So that all the like kind of damage calculations are only done if they're being hit by like non-heroic sources, I guess you describe it as. Like, so if it's just the lane minions or whatever trying to hit them, or if minions in the jungle and that sort of thing, they're basically a lot hardier versus those targets, and therefore he should be better at pushing lanes and taking jungle camps and that sort of thing. And that's pretty much it for the reworks.
Okay, cool. But we're also seeing some updates to the tanks after the tank rework that we saw in 7.9. Those changes have now gone live.
Yeah.
And they're being tested out a little bit, and Riot are making some tweaks, including to your favourite giant glob of green goo, right? Yeah,
so they've made some changes already, some of which have been put live in like a patch. I think it went live halfway through last week, or it must have been like Thursday or Friday or something, where they nerfed Sejuani. Still can't say it because she was way too powerful, basically. Right. They also implemented a few buffs to Zac. They're also going to do more of those on the PBE. They haven't like announced exactly what they're going to be yet, but they've said they're going to be more changes on the way. The Zac ones actually look fairly significant, which is slightly surprising given how much work they'd already done on them. But I guess he needed it. Beyond that, there's also an ARAM rework happening. So this is the all random, all middle map that they have. They're kind of changing some stuff about that, basically just to make it more fun, make it a bit fairer, because all characters, all the picks are random. If you end up with a team with a lot of melee characters versus a lot of range characters, you're in quite a lot of trouble. So they're kind of just having some blanket buffs to, if you are a melee character, you have a certain, they're giving them extra magic resistance, basically, so that they won't just get blown up. And then finally, there's like a system, I don't know if we actually mentioned this last time or not. They're implementing this thing called missions, which is basically a way in-game to track stuff that you're doing to like get rewards and that sort of thing. Turns out there actually isn't a system like that in game at the moment. You had to like go onto a website and like fill some stuff in, and then but they want to reward all of that in game and have pop-ups, as you would expect in kind of any games that have got that sort of thing. Particularly if you've been playing like Heroes of the Storm or Overwatch recently, with their kind of cross-promotional stuff that they've got going on. So it looks like they want to implement that. There was some stuff in the files about it in the 7.9 PBE. There's some more stuff in the 7.10 PBE. I would expect it's not going to actually arrive until 7.11, or maybe even further down the line. But that's what's going on at the moment.
Sounds good. League of Legends rolls on like a big, inevitable rolling thing. Thanks as always for watching. Thanks for joining us. Like, subscribe, share, ring the bell, all the usual. And we'll see you next time.
Thanks.
Cheers.